Hi kids, welcome to the Evolution of Metabolism. Hosted by me,
Hank.
the Bully. We've broken it down into 6 easy steps so that you at home can understand what's going on. The early Earth had a very energy-rich atmosphere filled with lots of hydrogens. In this reduced atmosphere, organic molecules were produced by natural forces. This is called abiotic synthesis. The first evolutionary step of metabolism was degradation. In this step, the organic compounds from abiotic synthesis are used by the most primitive organisms and broken down to create ATP. Let's learn a little more about ATP. ATP. Adenosine, a 5-carbon sugar, nitrogenous base and 3 phosphates. Altogether, they always become energy carrier of all life. Hydrogen from glycolysis through a pump of protons, coupled to a synthesis process. Blend the sugar with some phosphate. Evolution of metabolism, source of our life, rising up to the challenge of survival. There's a cycle of reactions that keeps us alive, and it can't ever work without moles of ATP. The second step of evolutionary metabolism is glycolysis. It is essentially a more complex version of degradation, using 10 steps to break down organic molecules and use their energy to synthesize from ADP ATP. The fourth evolutionary step of metabolism is anaerobic photosynthesis. It uses light energy and a proton pump to pump protons across a membrane. The protons are then forced back over the membrane by the proton gradient, and their energy is coupled to synthesize ATP. The protons used in this reaction are acquired from the atmosphere compound H2S. Soon, organisms needed a way to create proteins and nucleic acids. So, they took atmospheric nitrogen and broke the triple bonds, using the nitrogen to create these compounds. This is called nitrogen fixation, and is the fourth evolutionary step of metabolism. Unfortunately, oxygen is poisonous to nitrogen fixation, and any presence of it in the ecosystem would cause this process to completely shut down. With the advent of a large amount of oxygen in the atmosphere, it was very difficult for organisms to continue to use nitrogen fixation. Organisms in an anaerobic environment, that is, an environment without oxygen, were still able to use this process. Also, cyanobacteria still use nitrogen fixation. Let's take a look. Inside the cyanobacteria, there are special sacs called heterocysts, which can continue to carry out nitrogen fixation because they are impermeable to oxygen. The next step in the evolution of metabolism was oxygen-forming photosynthesis. This was pivotal! All of this anaerobic photosynthesis was producing a lot of free sulfur. So, what happens to all that free sulfur? Well, that's the job of the chemoautotrophs. Let's see what happens when there's sulfur in their environment.
Allow me to explain what just happened. We, the chemiotrophs, use the sulfur as our primary source of energy. Let's watch that again.
The sixth and final stage in the evolution of metabolism was aerobic respiration. This was a modification of photosynthesis, in which organisms, instead of acquiring their H plus ions from H2O or H2S, acquire them from organic molecules such as glucose. This process still uses chemiosmosis to get energy. The first bacteria to use aerobic respiration, which were purple, are thought to have evolved into modern-day mitochondria. Let's observe this organism eating and metabolizing in its natural habitat. We have placed a cunning trap to test whether the organism has gained enough energy through metabolism to hunt for more food. Look! There's an organism now!
Join us next time for the butterfly.